Hello, I'm Laurie Much, a volunteer with the Funder Plus program at the Community Foundation for Surrey. Over the last 5 years, the Funder Plus program at CFS has provided advice to some 50 charities with their accounts, strategic and business plans, and general governance. And we thought it would be useful to share some of this experience by way of a selection of videos. And this is part one on a practical approach to strategic and business planning and complements our video on risk management. So we're going to cover these topics. Why is it so important for a charitable organisation, especially now, to have a strategic business plan? And under today's circumstances, how can the management team find the time to deliver this? And so we offer a practical approach in 5 steps. And steps A to B will be in this video, and steps C to E will be in video 2. Let me make some opening observations. I think it's widely accepted that the charity sector is facing very uncertain times ahead. You're competing for funds, and donors certainly will expect you to be demonstrating sound governance. Creating a business plan for a charity is a powerful way to guide direction, to attract funding and volunteers, and ensure long-term impact. Even though charities aren't profit-driven, they still need strategic planning, in our view, to thrive. And whilst it may be part of the CEO's role specification, never has it been so challenging for the CEO, together with the management team alone, to find the necessary time to produce one. Why is this, and what can we do about it? Well, it's not surprising, really, that the CEO has so little time if you think about the circumstances that they're in at the moment. On the left-hand side, never-ending operational issues, obviously managing staff and volunteers, ensuring that there's adequate funds, perhaps managing incidents, and on the right-hand side, in parallel, maintaining good governance in the face of changing regulations with perhaps uncertain trustee support and board effectiveness, and always finding time for those pesky accounts. CEOs know that they need a plan, but they really struggle to find the time. Is there a practical approach? In our view, yes. So, from our experience, there's a couple of really important misconceptions about how much time is required to produce a plan and who writes the plan. Very often CEOs, and perhaps some trustees, looking at it from a previous career in business, think that a business plan needs to be 20, 30, 40 or more pages long. That's not necessarily the case if you break it down in manageable stages. And who writes the plan? Again, there may be a misconception as a CEO in a large corporate organization that it's the CEO who writes the plan. In a charity, in our view, it's crucially important this is a joint effort with the trustees. So there are the 5 steps that we've spoken about a moment ago. Let's look at them in a little more detail. So in terms of the content of Part A, working from top to bottom, these are the immediate issues. These are absolutely the top of the mind issues that the CEO is facing, that needs the trustees to be aware of and the trustees to give attention to. This needs to be a really focused piece of work, and it's our view that probably no more than a page is necessary. And it's certainly a role, a job for the CEO. Part B is to look in a little more detail about the charity's purpose. But again, this is an initial perspective from the perspective of the CEO and his or her team. They're again in the best possible position to provide input. But remember, they're faced with all of those challenges. So this is who do we serve in content on the top left? Who do we serve? What we provide as a charity, why it matters now in view of the changing circumstances of those the charity helps. Clearly, if you're right in the middle of that charitable organization, it's quite natural for us to be focused on what's affecting the charity. What we often overlook is what those changing circumstances are impacting those that the charity is helping. This concludes part one on a practical approach to strategic and business planning. Please now go to part two, which brings into play the crucial role of the trustees that we spoke about earlier on. This video is for general guidance only and does not replace the need for you to get professional advice in relation to your specific circumstances.